This is David, as he's moving and grooving among the elites of town. You can tell by his fashion sense.
Really? Well, welcome. Hey, just to let you know, I think we should have a battle royal over the next few weeks. That's going to be between Mike, who's obviously the long-term champion, and Mr. Pizza Carla, and anybody else who wants to join. So for the person who in the next 3 weeks gets it says good morning earliest, I think that we should give them a prize. Where's the hat, Dave?
My hat?
Yeah. He says there should be a hat that goes with that shirt.
Oh, I haven't got one yet because my haberdasher and tailor, Giant Tiger, isn't carrying it recently.
Oh. Your haberdasher and tailor needs to be fired. Get a proper one.
I might have to shift over to Walmart.
Well,
it costs more. It costs more, but sometimes you have to make the sacrifice for style and fashion.
Well, yeah, but I think a distinguished gentleman like yourself would only shop on Savile Row.
Well, they don't have the stuff that I don't. No. They're looking up to me. Yeah, they wait till I walk by, and then they change the fashions accordingly. Well, there's the fashion plate, Dave Wheeler. Let's change pretty quick.
And I bet during your entire life as a union man, that when you got to your 70s, you wouldn't be seen as a fashion icon. I bet you never thought that your entire life, did you?
Well, I always was. My hard hat was the shiniest. My work boots were the coolest.
Just because you spit and polish it didn't make that a fashion.
My coveralls fit like a glove, man.
Polish guy.
My coveralls fit like a glove. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that was because
I got my work boots, my work gloves. Definitely, I had nothing but the finest work gloves at all. That I stole from the crib. So there's nothing. When I took up a wrench and turned a wrench on a machinery, people took notice. Wow, look at the coveralls on that guy.
Let me translate. In his wildest dreams, he was hoping some woman somewhere was taking notice of him.
Well, there's not a whole lot of women out there. There was a few. I have to say, we had a few women in our union.
Oh, I see.
Let me say this: I would say 99.5% of. I didn't want to arouse any kind of that kind of attention. Unless there were women there.
Well, I was meaning the office ladies. The office ladies who occasionally looked out in the area.
Oh, well, yeah, but they wouldn't let me in the office after a while.
Yeah, well, okay, we got Brad Pine on. Welcome, Brad Pine. How are you? How are you doing this morning? Yeah, okay. So this is Talking Niagara, and we're here with kind of the news that's that goes around the world that's about Niagara. And number one on this list for today is that whilst the bridges in Niagara are all slumped during the early part of the term of Trump's term, they're slowly recovering. There's a modest recovery underway with the bridges right now.
Yeah, basically what they're saying is there was a huge drop in the amount of drop in people going across the river. I know I did. I went over there to watch lacrosse games. I started going to Hamilton instead of Buffalo, and that's kind of a bummer. I only went twice myself, but generally speaking, people stopped going over there. And that was for two reasons. That was political and it was financial. And the political was, of course, that big orange gas bag. You're threatening Canada with tariffs, threatening with the 51st state, crude and vulgar gurglings of things like, you have forest fires, so this must be why we have to tariff you because you're not raking the bottom of your forest. Yeah, vast wilderness, no roads, no rails, and the only way to get there is by helicopter if you can, and we got to go and then manage our forest by raking them. Yeah, that makes lots of sense. So you have this orange gas ball making all these comments, and of course people stop going over there. We want to fight back. We definitely want to fight. We don't want to hurt our American neighbors, but we definitely have to fight back some way. And that's what people think. The other, of course, is financial. Our dollar's just not worth a whole lot. So if you put the two together, you put the financial strain the average Canadian is, even American, but the strain of an average Canadian has to pay and to go over there, and the political atmosphere. And what do you get? You get less Canadians going over there.
Yeah. Well, also Rick raises a point though that very often, whilst we have a weaker dollar, it's often very much cheaper to shop in the USA, even with the dollar difference.
Well, it is there. It was to a point, but our dollar has collapsed so much, right?
Well, that's part of the problem. It was when it was 25.
Exactly what I just said. Yeah.
And it was when it was okay when it was 75 cents. The dollar, Canadian dollar was 75 cents or 80 cents. It's not okay when it's 60 cents or less.
Well, yeah. So we're hurting. We're hurting because of the economy, and of course, it's not helping that the economy is so unsettled because of the worldwide tariff regime. It's not just against Canada; it's against the world at large. It has upset the current balance recently, and hopefully temporarily, as the Iran war has caused a great deal of problems, and it's going to add more expense to the world. When the U.S.-Iran war finally ends, that means everything has to be rebuilt in and around those areas, not just in Iran, but in Kuwait, in Qatar, in Saudi Arabia, in the UAE. Those are going to cost a lot of money. And so oil and other things are going to be slowed right down. Expenses are going to go up because of the war. This is after the war is over. Right now, it's costing the Americans incredible amounts of money, the American taxpayer. That will put pressure on even us because the American taxpayer now has less money to spend other places. So, there's a bunch of different reasons why we might not be picking it up when we are. But it is to notice those who can travel, that used to travel in the United States and go to Florida and places like that, are going other places.
Yeah.
Going down to the Bahamas, they're going down to Jamaica for the winter, they're going to Mexico. So that's a big deal too.
Okay, so let me apologize. I misspoke. The Canadian dollar currently is at 0.71 US dollars, so 71 cents US. I was taking it lower than that, and it has risen from 0.705 to 7125 at the moment. Not quite up to 715, but so it's higher than it has been for the last month, but still very weak state, because when it's beneath 75 cents to the US dollar, it's usually not good for us.
No, well, it's good and bad. Our exports to the United States are more appealing, or exports anywhere. So we export more, employ more people, basically. If our dollar goes too high, then people don't buy as much of our stuff, basically.
Yeah.
And so there is that sweet zone. Probably Canadian dollar pegged at about 80 cents US would probably be but just about right. That would make our stuff very much more affordable for other countries, and it might employ more Canadians. However, I don't know where this is going, because we have uncertainty in the economy right now. Uncertainty about tariffs, uncertainty about war, and certainty about what the U.S. administration particularly is doing. And we got wars. We got the Ukraine war that never seems to end. We got the Iranian war that looks more and more like a very long war, maybe not a forever war, but it's already 5 times longer than it's supposed to be. You know, it's supposed to be 5 weeks. Now it's 5 months, you know? So I don't know what that works out to be, but it's 4 or 5 times longer than it should be. And it looks like it's not going to end anytime soon. And the Straits of Hormuz are going to remain closed. And every time there's bombs being thrown about, gas prices go up. We should be paying somewhere around $1.25, but last night I got it for $1.61, which was, probably the best in town. Well, except for on Dunn Street. I couldn't get into the Dunn Street station because they were $1.59 or something. And it was just crowded. So anyway, that's not going to change until our gas prices, our diesel prices, our fertilizer prices, all that's going up. That's going to affect the Canadian dollar, and it's going to keep people away from expensive places like the United States.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Okay. So, yeah, but you see, that trade definitely in the first year and a half was significantly down. At times, there were people, the bridge watchers basically were commenting upon how empty the bridges were for a long period of time. Now, of course, they're starting to fill back up again, not to past levels, but starting to get better. Right.
Well, I went by the Lewiston Bridge the day before last in the evening. Oh, I guess it was could be getting pretty close to 8 o'clock there, or it was around 8 o'clock. And there was nothing but trucks coming from the United States and nothing going the other way.
Yeah.
The whole bridge was just jammed with trucks coming into Canada and nothing going the other way, not even a single car.
Yeah.
So you have to wonder, we talk about the idea that the CUSMA or USMCA, whatever you want to call it, is a problem. No, I don't see it's a problem at all. With all that kind of traffic coming into Canada, it means we're not really restricting anything that's coming into Canada very much. Anyway.
All right, dig around the gift cards, Wills. Monday is fast approaching, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna check out all the flyers for coupons, everything. We may be able to get a Big Mac real cheap. I don't know.
A Big Mac hasn't been cheap in years, Dave.
Well, I might be able to get a crispy chicken delight for I don't know. I just got to wait for the flyers to come out.
Yeah, I was going to say, McDonald's seems to have been ridiculous prices recently. $35 to go eat something at McDonald's. That's ridiculous.
I know. I'm going to take out. There's a place pretty close to where Gary's living. It's called Bob's Dogs, right on the corner of Drummond and Dung. Yeah, we can stand outside and have a hot dog. I'll buy one of them. They're pretty reasonable. I'm looking for a coupon on that too, but I don't think Bob's Dogs has coupons. But
yeah, all right, okay. So Lemire taught me about the price of lettuce. The price of lettuce affects the price of the Big Mac. Yeah, of course it does.
Yeah, all that thing, and we have problems with lettuce coming out of Mexico now too. I didn't read that last one. Turn back.
He said, I will belong to the US anyway. You will belong to the US anyway.
You will be going to the US anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
Well, yeah, like I got relatives and friends down there, you know. But I'm not gonna do any holiday to the U.S. I had planned on just driving around the U.S. for a whole summer, basically, just check things out, go to town, and just kind of hang out.
So you were gonna join the show from the little town of God knows where, giving an update on the largest ball of string in the world and how many feet it's grown this week.
Well, yes, I could do that. I was thinking of just going around and showing off my fashion, my fashion tastes and
oh my gosh,
my acumen. I was thinking of that, and plus, I was going to go around as a celebrity bingo caller, and offer my services to charity bingos all across the United States.
That would be a good one, Dave. That would be a good one because you'll get some cool there. You'd probably get a few. Probably get a few side gigs doing that. Right, and Rick says yes, Dave. Seeing all the good Trump has done.
Yeah. Well, look. Let's put it this way. I listened to a fellow by the name of Andrew Neil. I don't know if you know him. He's a famous journalist, British journalist. Okay. Most of the time he's a grumpy old man, but he's got his own show out now. He's most famous recently for having an interview with Shapiro. Shapiro thought he was a communist leftist, and that's couldn't be farther from the truth. Neil was just asking for accurate information, as a journalist would, and of course, Andrew Neil is a very famous conservative. He's very much right of center. And Shapiro laid on him, like, you're asking me this question is because you're a leftist, looking for and all this. And that,
he's Scottish.
That was a few years ago. Yeah.
He's Scottish, isn't he?
Yeah. And if you want to listen to a very good conservative point of view, Andrew Neil's the guy to go to, like David Frum is from Canada. David Frum is pretty good on everything except Israel. He's a marked Zionist, so he will never say anything wrong. If Netanyahu killed his own kid, he wouldn't say anything about it. But aside from that, David Frum is a very good conservative journalist, and Andrew Neil is too. Now, he pointed out the good and the bad of Trump the other day, which I thought was kind of a refreshment, because he said, yeah, well, Trump's having a lot of difficulty now, a lot of failures, but don't forget his wins. He says he did shut down that border that Biden left open like a sieve, and but he didn't go on and blab about how bad Biden was or anything. He just pointed out that the Biden administration was pretty bad at that particular issue, and then a few other things that Trump had done that was beneficial. But then he went on to say that Trump seems to be losing it, and his own people that know Trump from the White House and all that are worried about Trump's state of mind and stuff like that, and that he's not making sound decisions anymore. And he got roped into the Iran war by Bibi. He got led down the garden path and so on. So it was a very, very good analysis of Trump. Somebody that is pretty much unbiased. He leans conservative, right? He leans Republican, but aside from that,
I know who Andrew Neil is. Yeah. I know who Andrew Neil is. Yes, and fairly well-known conservative. He was actually, I believe, he was an editor for one of the big newspapers at one point. The Sunday Times, right?
He was also a big reporter for The Economist originally. He's been on the BBC. Yeah. If you want a pretty good journalist, now the guy, of course, is right of center, and his opinions shoots that way, but reasonable, not MAGA, not weirdo Rama MAGA, not the weirdo type of of conservative that MAGA.
But I don't think he's ever.
But he's just your everyday conservative guy, right?
Yeah, and if memory serves, I don't think he's ever been. He's never been a politician, as in he's never stood for Parliament or anything like that.
No, but his ideology is right of center.
Yes,
but reasonably right of center. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A guy. But anyway, if you want to see very good analysis, opinion, basically, seek out Andrew Neil. He's pretty good at it. David Frum too. He's pretty good at it, except for, of course, Israel. Because he's he's a Zionist and that kind of thing. So David Frum is good on any kind of reporting other than anything that has to do with Israel, because he's blinded by the Zionist thing. But other than that, he's very, very good. So there are Laurie. Who am I think? Laurie Goldstein. I used to read Laurie Goldstein. He's another guy that's a very good conservative commentator. So when we of the left of center get very, very frustrated by what's happening on the right, and we see this madness going on, particularly in the United States, and you think, oh my God, is that the future of conservatism? Then you read these people and you think, oh, well, real conservatism is still alive and well.
All right. Let's move on to something else. A professor of this one actually surprised me. A professor in St. Paul who is a professor of Buddhist studies at McAllister College in St. Paul, Minnesota. Now, he was arrested, dragged out of his car, and is facing charges of being part of a conspiracy to impede or injure immigration and customs enforcement officers in their duty while the whole thing went down in Minnesota earlier this year.
Yeah, I have to go back and get that article. That was yesterday's article, wasn't it?
It was yesterday's article, and similar case to this was thrown out of court in.
That's 2 days ago, actually.
Yeah.
So
similar case to this.
The professor is the thing that sticks out here with me. They've taken this professor, right, and of course the professors got involved in criticizing ICE and all that, which is not unusual. But because he's kind of prominent, ICE has gone after him and trumped up charges on him. Trump being the active word there, trumped up charges. They accuse him of being part of Antifa. They don't even know where Antifa is. They don't even know who belongs to Antifa. They just keep bringing up Antifa. And when asked, where is Antifa? They can't ask that question. Where are the headquarters of Antifa? Tell me a prominent person that's part of Antifa. They can't do it. Yes, Antifa does exist. It is a loose organization out there. But the U.S. FBI and CIA have no clue of where these people are, what kind of organization they actually have. So this guy's a college professor and a father of two, and one of thousands of Minnesotans who rallied earlier this year when Trump administration launched aggressive crackdown on immigrants in the Twin Cities. We talked about that before. They really messed up bad. They had to get rid of what's his head. I can't remember his name anymore. They had to get him out and bring in Tom Holman to fix things there. And that's because they killed two people, right? The Border Service killed Perry, I think, and Renee
Good, and I forget the other
Alex
one.
Perry, is it? I already forgotten his name, which I shouldn't do, because they were murdered. Basically, those two were murdered, and the administration said they were a threat. They were a threat. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say one such case has been in Chicago. A similar case was thrown out last month. But recently, also demonstrators in Texas were convicted of terrorism charges and sentenced to decades behind bars. Although in that particular case, they shot and injured an officer.
Yeah, one of them did. That's stupid. All you need is one nutcase.
Yeah.
The country when anyone and their brother can have a gun on them at any time because it's legal. So yeah, so you go after demonstrating one of the people among you takes his gun out and shoots somebody. That's just great, isn't it?
Yeah.
We see civil rights activists and prosecution. So they're after Davis, this guy Davis, who's a college professor, and of course he's using his legal right to protest, but they don't like him. They don't like him very much, so they're going to charge him with stuff, and that's typical of what the authoritarian regime in the States is doing right now. They're grabbing people and charging them and scaring them, even though most of the time their charges don't stick, aka the reflecting pond. Yeah, somebody with a box cutter ran right through the reflecting pond and made a big cut in it right after Trump said that no possible cut could ever be made. And that's the kind of thing that I don't think they really care if the charges ever get through. The whole idea is to scare people.
Yeah.
Is make them hire lawyers, inconvenience them, scare them, and put the fear of God into anyone else that wants to protest. You're going to be punished if you do.
Yeah. Basically, this person, he's attended and facilitated meetings about protest and discussed anti-authoritarian ideology with other activists. And he's not accused of violent acts, but taking specific action at protests, not about any encounters with ICE agents. So there's no proof he ever did anything specific to ICE, but it's just because he's an anti-ICE organizer. That's why they're taking action.
It's like what is it? James Comey is up for the 8647 thing. He's being charged with threatening murder or threatening assassination when he showed a picture of 8647 with seashells. Meanwhile, not long before that, a Republican had done that with 8646 against Biden, the same thing. Nobody charged him, but they're all over Comey. It's an act of revenge, of petty revenge. And it's petty revenge, Davis says. They're trying to portray being part of a community as an illegal conspiratorial act. Yes. Of all the things ICE has to do, they go after this. Now, Davis is a Buddhist studies scholar. Buddhists. What do you know about Buddhists? They're probably among the most peaceful people in the world, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Particularly the devout Buddhists are very peaceful. They don't even kill flies, for crying out loud. So
and the picture of him is, very peaceful, peace evoking, if you get what I mean.
Well, he looks like a hippie. Definitely looks like a hippie, but
a hippie who's cool, man. Do anything you want, man.
Yeah, it's Alex Pretty, by the way. Alex Pretty.
Pretty.
I think I call him Pretty, yeah. Pretty, so so he was, but I think he was murdered by the border guards, not ICE agents, but border police, but whatever. And anyway, it's astonishing, overwhelming sense that almost everybody was opposed, angry, and scared, and almost everybody wanted to do something, said Davis, who joined the hyper local group chats and all that. So what they're doing is they're taking a prominent figure, an educated figure, and then going after him. It doesn't look good. ICE agents charging a professor of Buddhism with conspiratorial stuff. So that's what the federal government is doing down. It's very scary. It's very scary how they're doing that. and the people are protesting. The people are protesting the same way as the revolutionary Americans protested authority. They did the same thing. What brought the Americans out onto the streets and into the fields to fight the British over authority, right?
Yeah.
These people are doing the same thing. You've got jackbooted Nazis going around breaking into people's homes and dragging them out. They have a 2,000 a day quota. Get rid of 2,000 a day. It's supposed to be criminals, right? They're supposed to be shooting for criminals, but they're going after anybody. And anybody that says, hey, you're doing this wrong, this is unconstitutional, guess what? We're going to arrest you.
Yeah. Yeah. And, is this going to put this, what's going on with ICE back on the front page again?
I don't know. So I'll go back to Andrew Neil in a minute here. He said that the one positive thing that the Trump administration had done is close up the border. Obviously, the Biden administration could not do it. They were just dumb as all hell when it came to the border. But Trump did. But the way in which he's doing it, getting rid of the illegals right now, is brutality. It can be done. It does not have to be done like this. It does not have to be done with that kind of brutality. You don't have to follow a little kid home when he goes home to school and then raid his house.
Yeah.
You know? So who they're grabbing, and of course they've killed the Mexican people who don't, the wrong people, because they're not that smart of a group. They're goons, basically. Anyway, so this is the kind of thing we have to keep an eye on. It could happen here too, so we have to be very careful of it. Yeah, we have a lot of illegal immigrants here, and we're getting rid of them. Much slower than they are down there, but we don't make a lot less mistakes too.
Okay, all right. Well, and actually, in that regard, why don't I bring this particular one forward? Basically, Carney has been stating that that the government has now taken back control of immigration.
Yeah, that's the claim here. Now it's a mixed bag, because other articles I've read about this have said that Canada is kind of in trouble because its immigration has been declining, and we need that immigration to keep the economy going and keep the lower end work things filled and all that. But we don't have, and of course we have a lot of our experts leaving Canada and going to the United States. That always happened anyway, so I don't know what they're talking about. But Carney says that he has control over immigration now. I'm not so sure everybody is convinced. I'm very sure that everybody knows that it's better than it was. But I believe that most people think there are still a lot of illegals coming into the country through tourist visas or whatever else, that our system was so bad under Justin that it's going to take a long time to fix it. Justin was just like Biden. They were so much similar. Biden let everybody and their brother in, and so did Justin and his government. And in fact, they had the temporary work program that was just completely out of control.
Yeah.
Have the education system that where just about anybody that could get into the country and go to any kind of course would felt that they were that was the conditions by which they needed to stay in Canada.
Hey, I'm going to be teaching a course in a couple of weeks' time. So, hey, they can come to my course, pay me $1,000 each. Come to my course. Yeah, I'll take it.
Well, you probably get, 100,000 people from India applying for that course right now. And some of them might not even want to speak English. But you give them a diploma and they'll come say, just get here. I'll give you a diploma, and for $1,000, that's all you need.
Yeah.
Right? But so anyway, a lot of the problem, the reason why we were speaking, of course, he was in Red Deer, Alberta, and Albertans are pretty bummed about how the immigration is going. So they're kind of and they say they include questions about having a province assume more control of immigration system and whether they should be a law requiring proof of citizenship in order to vote in a provincial election. Who could argue that?
Well,
you know,
there is a
you're a
law,
citizen or not.
There is a law, isn't there?
You know what? I worked the polls, and there's different ways in which you can prove that who you were, and the typical one was showing a picture ID and a proof of address.
So if I came along with the driving license for to vote at at a provincial or federal election, you'd have given me the right to vote even when I wasn't yet a citizen.
No.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
No, you have to be on the voter polls.
Yeah.
So if you are a registered voter, if you're a voter, they keep that information. So the next time there's an election, I'm going to get a voting card.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
Right. And I'll bring that to the poll. But if you don't, if you just moved into the area, you're a Canadian citizen, you just moved into the area, there's a couple of different ways to prove who you are. As a matter of fact, if you don't even have any ID, you can bring somebody with you that will vouch for you. And you get to vote, but your name gets put in a separate place just in case there's an issue with the votes in that area.
Yeah.
For instance, if somebody wins by 1 or 2 votes, then those votes there that someone had to come and vouch for you will now be investigated to make sure that you were an actual citizen.
Exactly.
And those kind of things.
That's exactly my point. So the point being is that yes, I've got a Canadian driving license, but that doesn't guarantee that I'm Canadian, right? That just guarantees that I've got the right to drive here in Canada.
That's right. And when you go to the poll, the guy that's handing out the ballots will say to you, go back to England. You are not a Canadian. I can see that you are from England. Go back to England. This is only for us Canadians.
But you see again, now being fully Canadian, you see, at the time I wouldn't have even, I knew that I didn't have the right to vote, so therefore I wouldn't have even gone to the polls. Wouldn't have even.
Oh yeah, that's the whole idea. The whole idea in the United States that they need voter ID. They're paranoid about floods of illegal votes. Is ridiculous. It's never been proven. The amount of illegal votes is marginal, very, very small. Anytime it's been proven, and that's the last place an illegal is going to go. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm an illegal, and I'm going to go and vote. Right. Yeah, that's the place. If I'm going to get caught being illegal, that's where I'm going to be caught.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Dumb.
And
they're paranoid. They're paranoid about voters. They're paranoid about it. It pays for the politicians to make them paranoid, and it's not just the Republicans. I mean, they're the best at it right about now. There's an Antifa around every corner, and a communist around every corner, a godless, evil communist around every corner. Watch out! Our way of life is about to be ruined. So that's their thing, and they require voter ignorance to get away with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the Democrats aren't any better. They're weird too. Well, let me put it this way. The Democrats in the United States right now are stupid, and the Republicans are basically ignorant. And when you add it all up, what choice does the average American have when it comes to vote?
Yeah. Yeah, well, and of course, one of the things that why he's in Alberta is with this sort of thing is because, of course, he has to convince Albertans to stay in Canada.
Yeah, that's one of the things, but also to appease Alberta. Alberta is feeling the crunch. If Alberta has been left out all these years, it's always the one that it produces oil, it produces massive wealth for the country as a whole, and it's being taken orders from Ottawa. Ottawa tells it how much it can produce, how much it has to cut back on emissions, and all that stuff, and it won't do it in places like Quebec where they'll lose votes, or Ontario where they'll lose votes, a lot of votes, but they can lose a small amount of votes in Alberta and show the world how tough we are on the environment, you know. So Albertans are really angry, and I don't blame them one bit for it. And I've been angry for them myself anytime I've seen the federal government meddle with their affairs. So what the Alberta government is saying, and I salute them for this. This is our province, and we get to make the rules here, right? According to the Constitution of the United States, right, or the Constitution of Canada, we have certain rights, and quit cutting into us, right? Leave us alone. Let us do what we're supposed to do. You do what you have to do. Get the army, whatever else, whatever you need to do, but stay out of our affairs. Let us conduct it, right? Yeah. We don't need to take orders from you. And I like that idea. And I like that idea. I think it should be the same for Ontario and everyone else. We allow that in Quebec. We don't let the federal government impose that too much in Quebec. So get their nose out of Alberta's affairs. I think that would go a long way to help Alberta feel more part of Canada.
Okay. No, sorry, that wasn't the right one. Brad Pine makes an interesting comment. He said it would be really cool if us two, Paul Lemire and the two ladies from what the F Niagara, did a one shot panel show. We could interview. We could actually ask certain questions of each of the candidates. I like that idea on a live broadcast session.
I know the women would be very anxious about that. They would fear that I would upstage them in fashion, I'm sure. But
actually, I can't see Caroline Iannone agreeing to appear on the same slot as Paul Lemire.
I don't know why not. Look, Paul has his opinions, and you have to listen to them because people have those opinions. Why do they have those opinions? Not everybody can be right like me all the time. So you have to decide, where do these opinions come from, and then you can have all these opinions and compare them to mine, which is always the right opinion, and see where have they gone astray.
Okay, and of course Heather Report is actually another opinion as well. Yeah, and okay, he would upstage the women by wearing a great dress, says Brad Pine. Right. Yes.
I don't know. I don't know if I got enough money. I'd do it. Okay. $50. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yes, Brad.
$50 is $50.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so where we should get back to serious business out here. That's a suggestion. I don't think it'll ever happen, but yeah, it would be cool. It'd be cool. We'd have to have a subject matter though. Maybe when it comes closer to the election, the municipal election, a bunch of us could all get together, but it would have to be controlled. I could see a lot of shouting and over talking happen. So there would have to be one.
It would be the five. It would be the five of us have the opportunity to question each candidate for about 5 or 10 minutes and move on to the next candidate.
Yeah, well, the candidates aren't going to show up, are they?
Right. Oh, yeah, virtually. They could all show up virtually. Why not?
I doubt that they would, but anyway.
There was a great session, by the way, at the Niagara. The winery out on Lundy's Lane that's no longer there. at the last election in 22, where all the candidates showed up. You were there.
When was that?
On the 22 election.
Oh yeah.
There was a big panel on that one.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a return to that. Right.
Okay. Actually, the best enthusiasm I've ever seen for a municipal election was back when Salsey was versus Thompson. They had debates. They went to the big hotels, in the auditoriums in the big hotels, and had things. I'm sorry, but Paul is a rock star. Yeah, well, Paul is a rock star. He just does not have the appropriate opinions on certain political things.
Well, what I like
actually, Paul's pretty much a rock star on municipal affairs. I will grant that.
Absolutely.
In buckets. Yes.
One of the things I would absolutely do like about Paul is that even if you and he disagree, if he's interviewing you, he will allow you to put your vote. In fact, he encourages you to put your opinion out there and why people should vote for you. He might have a thing or two to say about it. I'm looking forward to the interviews that Paul's going to bring to the election as it comes up.
Well, yeah. And municipal elections are something different from federal, of course, because it doesn't matter what stripe you are politically, whether you're a communist, a socialist, a liberal, a conservative, a capitalist swine, an authoritarian Nazi MAGA guy. The basic thing is, if you come to City Hall, none of that counts. It's just how do you spend the money properly for the citizens, right? So a lot of the political ideology that surrounds federal and provincial politics is gone, and it's just down to practicality. So it doesn't matter if it's a Martian or whoever is on the council, right, or whatever political stripe they are. It's about basic pragmatic things.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about basic pragmatic things. Let's move on to the next subject. Welland is Cook's Mills residents won a victory in relation to the industrial plant battle that they're facing, because they have been saying that they are celebrating because what they wanted was to stop industrial movement into what was essentially farmland.
Yeah, good for them. Cook's Mills gets its name from a miller by the name of Cook. It was actually the site of the last major military confrontation in the War of 1812. Everybody thinks it was New Orleans, but New Orleans happened after the war was over. So that was a false. That unfortunately was a tragic battle that need not have happened. Whether the British lost or won the Battle of New Orleans would have made no difference at all to the result. They lost badly there, but the last official battle, main battle of the War of 1812 was at Cook's Mills, and that's when the Americans were trying to shut off the food resources for the troops by taking out the mill there. That's just a bit of the history.
Yeah, but basically what this is that local residents have been opposed to the farmland being turned into an industrial use, and essentially it lost as agricultural land forever, and the industrial expansion would bring, of course, with it things like truck traffic noise, environmental impacts, and into that rural community, and that's what they're very much concerned about.
All right, so I have from Gary that he says an SLD, which I'm thinking social liberal Democrat, couldn't even win a seat at the region. Is that what it is? Social liberal Democrat?
I don't know. where that is referring to.
How do you find SLD? Is it social liberal Democrat? And then how do you define social liberal Democrat? We find that a fellow like Mamdani won all of New York. He'll probably get assassinated, but aside from that, right there. But as I say, like as far as regional government or municipal government, your brain dead SLD couldn't even win a seat at the region. God stop your BS. I think God likes me, right? Let's bring Bob Gell back. I like Bob Gell. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the diplomatic means. I think he got railroaded out of his position because of the Mein Kampf book he has. I think that is a historical piece of literature. I think it's a historical book.
The interesting thing is that when people are talking about that, a lot of people have been saying that that's actually almost irrelevant that Gale has that literature. That most people who object to Gale are saying, I don't like his politics, and that's a fair thing. The fact that he has the book to most people is irrelevant.
Well, but they used it against him.
Yeah,
and that's what forced him to retire. Like he may have made a few mistakes there in the very beginning, trying to get things going on the region, to try to save some money and get things moving, get rid of whatever. But as soon as they found that out, they used it to him and they brutalized him with it. And he knew that they were never going to shut up about it, his opponents. So that's what pushed him up. I think that's terrible.
At the end of the day,
I think that is absolutely terrible.
It is. At the end of the day, though, we have Bob Gale to thank, I think, for the current state of the regional government, where we don't vote for regional councils anymore. Because
I don't know if he's had that much of an effect, because he wasn't in there for that long.
Yeah.
Running the show. So
what
he did is he pushed it. He tried to get something done, and he may have done it too abruptly, too brusquely, but at least he tried. And so he got the ball rolling, but it didn't work for him, unfortunately. Yeah, you need guys like that. You need grumpy, no nonsense guys like Bob Gell, who look at the dollars and cents of it.
That's what I like about Bob Gale. He's always looking at the dollars and cents of it.
So yeah, and that's what I think is mostly what regional and municipal politics is about. Mostly about the dollars and cents of the budget and how to best facilitate your city. There, no matter what kind of political ideology you follow, whether it's SLD or Nazi MAGA. You still are right back down to how many cents are you going to spend on this or that, and how are you going to serve your city by not pushing the taxpayer into debt, at the same time completely facilitating your city the best you can. Make sure the water's there, make sure the snow is plowed, etc. Make sure the parks are there for the kids, so they can have a good time and families and so on. So it's much more of a practical exercise than it is idealistic.
Okay, let's have a quick service announcement. Siege of Fort Erie, the annual anniversary of the Siege of Fort Erie happens on next Saturday, the 8th and 9th, and Sunday, 8th and 9th of August. So if you're intending to go to that, there you go. Perfect timing.
Yes, I put that there to remind everybody that we have an excellent reenactment and all kinds of tours happening at Fort Erie. If you can go to the night siege, what's called the Drummond charge, or whatever it's called, about how Drummond charged the fort, almost took it. They were going to defeat the Americans, but then the magazine blew up and killed so many of the soldiers that was the end of it. It was really weird. And Drummond himself, the idiot, made everybody take their flints off their muskets so they could only do a bayonet charge. Dumb. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so that is a really excellent piece of history alive. So you take your family there. If you could go to the night, the night show where they demonstrate the night siege, where the night attack, it's just really, really good. I've seen it a couple times myself. It's great.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah. And, if people want to go, then obviously next, and it makes it good when it's on a Saturday and Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We've kind of come to that point at the end of the show, Dave.
Yes. Yeah. And you know what I'm going to do, don't you? I'm going to remind everybody about Gaza.
Yeah. We still got plenty of material, but you know that point, right?
Yeah. So the weekend's coming, and I'm going to do like I do every year. I am appalled by what has happened in Gaza from the very beginning. I was appalled by Yahya Sinwar and his attack. He mostly attacked military bases, but then he ran into a bunch of people along the way, and he was just a complete ass there, a vulgar murdering dog. But he's only responding to the vulgar murdering dog that is Netanyahu. Yahya Sinwar of Hamas and Bibi Netanyahu are mirror images of each other. Yahya Sinwar is dead now, but that kind of ideology is still alive and well. And why is it there? Is because the Palestinians have been persecuted since 1897, and especially after the war. Then people don't know the history of Palestine and Israel. And I always take Israel's side in this because who controls because of AIPAC and the Israeli lobby in the United States that wields incredible power. I mean, 3/4 of Congress is in the pocket of AIPAC, and 62% of Senate is. So you cannot get a fair. Palestinians can never get a fair shake in the United States, no matter how hard they try with that kind of a thing. In any case, the brutality of the genocide in Gaza, 72,000 people killed. Remember, Hamas went into Israel, killed soldiers, killed others, up to about 1,200 people. Israel responded with 72,000 deaths, about 150,000 maimed children and innocent people. And of those 72,000, they probably only about 10 or 15,000 maybe be Hamas warriors. The rest were all just innocent people. Because if they have one guy with a revolver goes into a building, they wipe out the whole building. It doesn't matter who it is, who's in there. These are people who have accurate munitions that can take out a single person anywhere in the world, but want to put terror into the fear into everyone. And that's why they do the cumulative punishment of everybody, the collective punishment of a whole people who got ripped off for their homes way back in 1948. Yeah. In any case, don't let that slip from your mind. Look it up yourself. It doesn't matter if it's liberal TV or conservative TV, whoever, they're all wrong about it. Look it up yourself. Read some books and, find out for yourself what happened there. Anyway, without further ado, I bid you adieu. Pray for peace, although I don't know how that's coming anytime soon, but pray for it anyway.
All right. Bye.
Bye for now.